Well, hello there. How is everyone? A thumbs down? I haven't even said anything. How could I have upset someone already? How could I have upset someone already that people are already thumbing me down? It's not very kind. It's not very kind. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. We got there in the end. We're live. We're live. I'm live. I'm live. I haven't ruined anything yet. How is everyone? How is everyone? But Barry Allen, the reason I checked this out was I always thought it to be yet another red flag because my Samsung just dies when it goes below 5%. See, I've never had a Samsung. I've always been iPhone since the very, very, very first iPhone, and they do go down to 1%, but then they don't really do a lot beyond that. You know, they start playing up. Like even the signal, the service starts playing up. Hello, evil exists. Hello, hello, hello. I'm trying to get things to work. Evil exists. Hello there. Hello. The only smart one is Johnny Vegas. He ain't saying a word and now goes by the same name Royston. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much for those asking. Thank you very much, Kathy. Yes, I am. It's a bit early. It's early in the morning. It's like 9:30 in the morning. This isn't going to be a long live. It's just rarely a touch base. Obviously, the Jay Slater case. I was going to do a live the other day. I suffer from hay fever. I suffer from it quite bad. Also, Mrs. Harsh and Hayden both caught fifth disease, which is basically slap cheek. So they were ill, and I couldn't stop sneezing. I don't know whether I was allergic to fifth disease, but there was no point in me sitting there trying to do a live because you'd have just been watching some idiot from the UK sneezing his ass off for 45 minutes. So I didn't really see the point. Then I set it up for last night, and same thing happened. I was just fucking sneezing till about 5 o'clock this morning. Hello, Derek. Hello, Derek. I hope you are well, my friend. I hope you are well. So yeah, the reason for the little get together, the little chinwag, I suppose, was the Jay Slater case. So I am bringing a video out later, which is touching on the Brian Koberger docs, which I will do that. It'll only be a shorter video, obviously. Thank you very much. See, I've got a few. I've got a few down here. I think. Let me have a look. Close to hand. Close to hand. See, I've got that one. I've got a plain black one. So I've got a few. We could go have a few different ones like that. So yeah, I've got a few. I even that's quite funny. Another YouTuber had said that he had said my hat basically says icon. I don't know whether he thought that he had made that up, that was funny. But then I put the plain black one on, that one, and he was like, "Oh, he's even changed his hat, so he's not wearing an icon hat anymore." No, you just can't fucking read, you blind twat. So please don't call live and not do them. It's been driving me nuts. Yeah, you see, in September, I won't be doing that. It's very difficult when you've got a family, dogs, children, 5 of them, and suffer from hay fever. I feel bad now for moaning. Hope you better. Don't feel bad, mate. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's just one of them things. Let's have a look. Let's go into some of the comments. Look, I want to see some of your comments. I'll get that off. I look like a twat. Someone will come in and be like, "What's that fucking idiot doing now?" With fucking 15 hats on. They have to acknowledge they don't know what happened, but circumstances are suspicious. No 19-year-old goes to a location with strangers early hours, then ends up dead by accident. No, that's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Load of bollocks. That's what I think. What I am pleased though, I'm pleased that his mum has come forward and she's now starting to ask questions. The only thing I can hope is that Dad now comes out swinging. Do you know what I mean? We've not really had, we haven't heard from Dad since Mum has come out and said. There you go. Trailer. I've never lived in a trailer in my life. Hello, Gunner. Hello, Gunner. The man on the fucking longest holiday known to man. If you're gonna do, if Carlsberg did vacations, that would be JB Gunner's vacation. Um, Harsh, you are wearing two hats. I was wearing three. I was wearing three hats just to really push the boat out. Everything works. I'm surprised it works because I've got like the kids are here and the kids are like, I think Hayden is like on the internet. I think he's like playing Fortnite or something. And our internet out in the middle of nowhere, and it's shared by the Ministry of Defence because we live on base. It's a bit bad, but it seems to be working. But I want to get the feeling of some of you guys' thoughts and feelings around this case. That's what I want to do. Why does I keep doing that? My gut feeling is that Jay was taken by boat to the ravine, probably kept elsewhere until he was found. Um, you see, if I had to fathom a guess on let me just skip ads. Hold on, skip ads. If I had to hazard a guess on what I think happened with the Jay Slater situation, I feel that I don't believe that what we've been told is what happened. I don't think that Jay Slater goes to a rave, gets split up from his friends go back to their hotel or wherever they're staying. Jay Slater decides to go for a ride out into the arse end of nowhere with Rocky and Bullwinkle, and then 2 hours later decides, fuck it, I'm not going to change, I'm not going to charge my phone. What I'm going to do instead is go for a walk in the mountains, and then he walked himself off a cliff. I can't get on board with that. I simply cannot get on board with that. Like, there's a lot of things that could have happened beyond that, and then you start going down into the realms of, we are highly speculating. There is a version of events what is quite simple, which I'll talk about in a second. Chris P. I'll get on there in a second. I'm about to start the Appalachian Trail in January, so the vacation will continue. Currently in a cabin in the mountains in a town only a mile long. That sounds pretty cool. Keep an eye out for Rocky and Bullwinkle. They hang about mountains and they throw people down ravines. Chris, now what do the thing what annoys me, right? People come forward in this case. You see it all the time. People coming forward and they're all for this. Oh, this is Jay Slater's fault. Jay did this to himself. There's no one else to blame, but you always end up finding out that these people have got connections to Tenerife. They're either business owners or they're associates to business owners, or they've got, they've gone there for years, and that they're the people. But you only have to go on to places like TripAdvisor and type in Tenerife, Playa de las Americas, for instance, and that you're just inundated with people saying basically this is a fucking hellhole. They're assaulting people, they're attacking people, they're robbing people. You've got people going missing hand over fist. You've got stories of these NRG festivals and these raves and the narcotic situation, but nobody wants to address that. It's like, no, it's just the problem is the British people. The problem is the British people. I get it. The problem may be British people, but it's an area. I had someone the other day just going, oh, stop going on about Tenerife. Tenerife isn't a bad place. It's just all the British people are bad. British people can be bad, but if you get a room, right? If you have a room that's full of dangerous British people, then you're going to say, that's a dangerous room. Someone's not going to turn around and say, stop picking on the room. It's not the room's fault. It's the people that's in the room. That's fucking stupidity. It's still a dangerous room. And that's what you see in Tenerife. Tenerife is the people. It is the people who live there. It's the people who go there, who frequent the area, who do the dangerous shit that they do. So stop saying, "I'll leave Tenerife alone." Nah, shut up. But Chris Pennington, he seems to be someone who he's got a specific narrative. He wants to push that this is almost like a one-off. Nothing to see here. Jay Slater went to a rave and he just walked himself off a cliff. There's nothing to do with anyone else or anything to do with Tenerife or the other people in it. And I can't. I get that some people can think that. I get it, and it is a possibility, but it's the lowest possibility. It's the absolute lowest choice that you can pick. That this lad with no aggravating factors ended up dead. It's the lowest thing. I can't get on board with that. That's it. But like I say, Jay Slater's mum is coming out. Thank you very much, Bill. The weight loss, yes, I've lost a lot. I have lost a lot. For anyone who knows British measurements and weights, I've lost 3 stone, 3.5 stone since January. So yeah, I've lost a bit. I did, however, yesterday eat a 14-inch chicken supreme pizza all to myself, which was very, very nice. So we'll call it cheat day. I know people call it cheat day. I cheated my damn ass off yesterday. Um, he didn't just walk off a cliff that's visibly ending into a ravine. No, and it's like what I said before. We're not. This is real life. This isn't Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, where Roadrunner is messing about with Wile E. Coyote and he walks off a fucking cliff and falls. Do you know what I mean? That ain't that. It isn't that. I don't know. Wow, nice work. I hope due to hard work and not illness. Anyway, no, I'm not ill apart from hay fever, and I think I had man flu a while back, which that was pretty bad to be fair. Man flu is a thing. I think he was pushed or slipped. The thing is, like I say, when we talk about aggravating factors around the Jay Slater case, what would we class as an aggravating factor that could lead to someone else? I cheated my ass off the entire first marriage. It happens, yeah. um, you threw me there. It's a loud house, mate. Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, just as a warning, I do swear. So if you've got a problem with language and swearing, you're going to have a massive problem with me because I do swear. I'm trying to sort that light out. Got like a shadow on my face. Lift that a bit. Now I look like I've got a massive fucking forehead. Can't get rid of it. That light's a bit. Can I change that? Let's have a look. No, that's too bright. That's too dark. Oh, I don't know. Fuck it, leave it. No kidding. So let's have a look. What are people's feelings? What is the feeling? Yeah. So Great British Stone is £14, and I've lost 3.5 stone. So fair bit. Fair bit. What? Nearly £50. Around £50 lost. I lose 50 quid every time the fucking daughter goes up to the town. We're going to have the friggin' nails done today. Nails and feet. That's the only downside of like having 4 girls and a partner. Like when they turn around and say I'm going to have my nails done, that's like 300 quid. You think, nice one. Right, what's going on here? What's with Jay's phone being found earlier, as reported on mainstream media and a friend family TikTok account who said no photos on it, then said not. See, this here, the phone situation, I can't 100% get on board with it because I don't know how true it is. I don't know. The thing is, whenever you see these cases, there's so much stuff that comes up that it's very hard to know what's right and what isn't right. Sorry. So if his phone was wiped, if that's true, and his phone was wiped, or his phone wasn't found with him, and it was found wiped, all the photos and everything removed, then there's 2 things here. Thing one is that this is 100% foul play, then 100% foul play, and the people around him were that stupid that they thought that they could delete everything, wipe everything off his phone, and that would be a done deal. The downside is, or the upside, the downside to whoever's done something wrong is that you can't delete anything off a phone. You know, for an iPhone, for instance, any sort of modern day phone is constantly backing stuff up in the background. So anything that was deleted off that phone will be able to be brought back. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not concerned about that. You know, but I just can't. I can't get on board with things like Jay Slater's phone was wiped. I can't get on board with it because I don't know what's real and what isn't real online. And we've got 459 people in here and 96 people hit the like button. So let's sort that fucking out for a start. Like video for free. It doesn't cost you a penny. Angel piece of peace. If Jay fell to his demise because he was under the influence of drugs, then I hope those who supplied get charged, like in the Matthew Perry murder case. I was going to bring this up the other day. Exactly this point, right? Exactly this point. Because what you have to do in this world is you have to ascertain how much a life is worth. So is Jay Slater's life worth the same as what Matthew Perry's life is? Now, don't get me wrong, Jay Slater helped cave someone's head in. Matthew Perry was in Friends as Chandler Bing, and Chandler Bing was a absolute hero to many. So there's going to be an argument that Matthew Perry's life is perhaps worth more than Jay Slater's. But I'm saying what I mean is, from a human being perspective, they should be treated equally. Now, Matthew Perry, they have been working tirelessly to find out what happened to him. The fact that, yes, he was likely supplied narcotics by multiple people. We saw the same with Michael Jackson. And I'm not even going to comment on Michael Jackson. There's going to be fans. There's going to be not so many fans. But look, they have investigated. They have sought who had been involved in the supplying, and they have been held accountable. Jay Slater should be treated the same. If Jay Slater went somewhere and he was supplied something, and that can be found out who did that, then they should be held accountable 100%. And this is what I mean by an aggravating factor leading to the demise of Jay Slater. And that's the only question in this case. And that's what everyone should be asking. Everybody should be asking, did Jay Slater, with no aggravating factors, die? Or was there aggravating factors that led to his death? And do them aggravating factors connect the situation to an individual or individuals? That's it. Let's have a look what Chris Hamilton is saying here. If that's a fact, who do you prosecute? We don't know who he got them from, and it would just be common sense to believe it was his friends. But again, be no proof. So how would that go? Curious. Which is a valid point, Chris. It is a valid point, and that's why we look back at the phone, and that's why we say if his phone was wiped, then you could almost, again, I suppose it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court. But if Jay Slater's phone was wiped, then ultimately you could argue that who wiped his phone then? If apparently his own friends, Lucy and Brad, said that they spoke to Jay Slater, at 8:30, and subsequently his phone is found wiped, then they have a problem. They have a massive problem, don't they? We've had inquest for much less hair. Yeah, we know that there's an inquest underway. They've had the initial hearing. They've stated Jay's name, his date of birth, or whatever. So there is an inquest ongoing. Now, there's still people saying that there is a criminal investigation underway. They're saying there's a criminal investigation, so on and so forth. There has been nothing stated that there is a criminal investigation. Nothing whatsoever. Now, is there a criminal investigation? There could be, but what I will say is nobody has come out and been able to establish that that is a fact. So we do not know that. So if someone's coming out, like there was people in the comments yesterday, I saw it, saying, yeah, there is a criminal investigation. They were going on to say that the family have been told they can't say this, they can't say that. This is being looked into. I don't even understand how they can say that. I don't get it. We know there's an inquest, but an inquest is not the same as a police derived criminal investigation looking into the death of an individual. That's not what the inquest is. But there we go. Aqua Eyes, nice to see you live. After watching the Debbie interview, I'm convinced his bag was taken off him to take control of the narrative. No phone, no location, no cash, no way of getting to safety. Which I think has been a question that many people have had. Just the verbiage, wasn't it? The verbiage of his stuff was found by him, or, what do they mean by him? He was wearing clothes and he had a bag and a phone in his hand potentially. I suppose you could explain it away. His phone was somewhere near him. I don't know. But point being, I don't think that Jay Slater died. This is my personal opinion, unprofessional opinion. I don't work for law enforcement, but my personal opinion is that Jay Slater died, and there was aggravating factors surrounding his death. Can I point the finger at individuals? Let's have a look. Chris P, I messaged you a while back about the cafe owner in Masca, half joking. Now I fully suspect involvement. All that person has to do is say that they saw him and they didn't, and that's involvement. And that's the question. I think this is what you're getting at, Chris, here. Is did she really see Jay Slater? Because that was an important factor in what happened to him. All you had to have was people saying that they saw him going in the wrong direction. Isn't it weird that the people are all kind of, again, that anybody around this, and let's not forget that Peter Hyatt has looked at the statements being made, especially specifically looking at Lucy's statement, and Peter Hyatt concluded that she was being deceitful in what she was saying. She was being deceitful. Why would she be deceitful? Now, don't get me wrong. She may have been honest in what she said, but there may have been a guilty undertone because she knows that there was something, again, an aggravating factor that led to his death. So there's that. You ultimately, if you feel guilty, if you feel that you've done something and it's led to someone's death, you could still be telling the truth, but there's going to be that undertone of guilt, and someone like Peter Hyatt is going to be able to pick up on that 100%. So that's what you have to consider. What is right that's being said? Is Lucy being honest when with the words she's saying, but that undertone of guilt is because there was something else going on, or was she flat out lying? And are we actually hearing multiple people around Jay Slater who have just lied, flat out lied? Like this, not being able to get it right, whether it was light or dark. Were they looking for Jay Slater at night or weren't they? Do you know what I mean? Jay Slater's own mum. Let me just hold on. Skip and ads. Like some people put, like yesterday, like I said about Jay Slater's mum saying about it was dark. It was dark. And I turned around and said, look, it's not dark at that time of the morning. When Jay Slater left the B&B, it weren't dark, it was light. And people turned around and said, well, she may have been talking about the night before when he was being taken up there. But I dispute that, because Jay's mum was specifically talking about what you could see. When you was out there and looking across that terrain, she said you could see civilization. You could see the directions that you could walk in to get to the bus stop, the road, the civilization. So why would he have then made a decision to fuck off in complete the opposite direction if you can see what you're doing? And I think that's the point. Was he did he leave there when it was still dark? Was he taken against his will? Piss off, ads. Was he taken against his will, and did he escape? Was he literally running away? Do you know what I mean? Like the downside with a phone call, if he's physically spoken to Lucy and he's spoken to Brad, we don't know what was said on them phone calls. We do not know. We can only hear what we're told was said on those phone calls. That's the difference between a text, isn't it? A text and, I don't know. But what are other people thinking? What we got? I still want to see what others are seeing in the blanket photo, the reflection in the chrome of the lighter. There's a few things that people have picked up with this, like the left hand, right hand thing. Like some people are confused over the hands. He's holding his lighter in his right hand, or and he's left-handed or whatever. Well, he's whatever he's got the lighter in one hand. The phone taking the picture is in the other hand. So you could argue that he's using his dominant hand to use the phone. I don't get that. I don't get the reflection either. I genuinely don't. The downside is that's a very poor quality photo. It was taken at night or in very poor light on what seemed to be a potato again. I never understand this. When people take photographs or people take videos around these crimes, and all of a sudden their cameras, and bearing in mind that if you've got a late phone, it's got a 4K camera on it, high def camera, but nobody can seem to take a photo or a video that looks decent quality. It's literally like they've used a potato, and it's constant. Like some people will send me a picture. They'll say, "Yeah, check out this video. Check out this video. It's Jay Slater on the beach getting stabbed." Now I can't say that's not him, but what I can say is I don't know who the fuck it is. I don't know who it is. I genuinely don't. Now, is that video alarming? Yeah, it's alarming. Could it have been Jay? I genuinely have no clue. And I don't think anybody can truly say that they have a clue. All we know is that there's a lot of things going on around this case that need to be questioned 100%. But why nobody can take a photograph or nobody has a decent photograph is I just don't know. But like Mary just said there, that picture, the one with the blanket, the thing that Mary just said here, good point. Why would someone take that picture rather than take a selfie? And that's a very valid point. Why wouldn't someone take a selfie? Why didn't they take? Why didn't he just snap a picture himself? It could have been because he was completely off his nut and he didn't want to get in there. It was a strange picture to take. And I pointed out before, it was almost like the purpose of that photograph was almost like to prove that he was somewhere. And we've seen it. And, you see it multiple times where people will be killed, people will die, and there will be an attempt made by the perpetrators to make it look like they were alive beyond the time of death. It happens. It's something that happens, and there is certainly an element of potential in that photograph that photograph was taken by a third party in the hope to make it look like it was Jay taking that photograph. You can't deny that. I'm not saying that is what happened here and what is happening, but I've got to say that it looks like it could be him. The only thing I can't get on board with on board with is the feet situation. I mentioned that a while back about Jay was right-handed. Why take pick with left hand of a ciggy to make sure it was a camel fag? Yeah, again, it does. It looks like a staged photograph. There's not. I don't see the point to it when you look at it from the individual taking it. If Jay took the photograph, what did he take it for? What was the point of it? I don't understand. And if his phone was low battery and he'd gone and asked for a charger, he was still using his phone then because he was taking fucking photographs of it. The whole story doesn't make sense. Rocky and Bullwinkle take him home. He gets there, he asks for a cigarette, and he asks for a phone charger. The only thing that makes sense there, and we have to acknowledge it, is that the phone charger wasn't the right one. It's simply what they didn't have a charger for him. He asked for one, he goes to look for one, and they don't find it because there isn't one. So he continues to use his phone. It's possible, and you just can't. You can't deny it. I just don't think that's the case. Specifically, when you think that most people have got fucking iPhones or whatever. Whose side is MWT on, and how and why? The guy confuses the shit out of me. At the end of the day, he's sitting there complaining about everything being said by social media, yet he was the main antagonist, if you like, in this story, bringing all of the stuff forward. And, all of the main rumors that have made people think this was foul play, he was somewhere involved in that. Everything I heard, do you know what I mean? Everything that I heard that made me think, okay, Jay Slater didn't do this himself. He was involved in someone else. There was someone else that went wrong, came from that guy. But yeah, at the end of it, he's like, well, I didn't say anything. Weren't me. Weren't me. Blame them. Blame them over there. And they should be looked into. So I don't know. I think that he is potentially just someone who likes getting involved in cases that are big to make it look like he's done it, and he gets the same result every time, and that is no result, none whatsoever. Lucy Lastic, soz I'm late. In her initial interview, Lucy says mid-sentence he didn't have his phone. She'd only just said he rang her. It's such a glaring anomaly out of anything else. Yeah, and I do hear this over and over again, that potentially did he have his phone, did he not have his phone? Again, at this stage, I just don't think we know what's going on. The biggest thing what bugs me is this is the biggest thing that bugs me, and that is that when you look at the bigger picture, you look at Jay Slater goes to an Airbnb, he goes to a party, this NRG festival, and he ends up at this Airbnb with these two older guys, because Jay's like 19, these guys are what, 30? So older guys. What the fuck are 30-year-old guys doing hanging around with a 19-year-old kid? That's weird. But law enforcement turns around and says, before they've even found him, before Jay's even been found, that these people are irrelevant to the investigation. Irrelevant to the investigation. Please tell me, in what world can, when you consider what you know, so Jay Slater leaves party, he sees you, in what world are law enforcement going to consider them irrelevant? And that's why the Ophelia, whatever her name is, that's why she is so important. She's almost the person who forces that, because she basically turned around and says, I saw him walk off, he's left, and law enforcement have taken her word for it. That's the only thing that makes sense there. They have believed the person who said that they saw Jay Slater leave. And at that point, that was enough of an impactful statement that they then thought, well, that can't be them then. And that pains me. That specific piece of information pains me. But there you go. I can't get my head around it. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. You can't, before you've even found somebody, rule out the last people to see him, unless someone who is powerful enough says this is what happened, and law enforcement has to go along with that. They have no choice but to take their word for it. So it's how much power do you give the person who said they watched Jay Slater walk away, and then Rocky and Bullwinkle very swiftly afterwards then leaves. They leave. They walk away. And it's like in this live, we've heard people consistently say, right? They consistently say, it's not what you know, basically, it's what you can prove. And that's the problem in the Jay Slater case. And I think this is always going to be the problem, is that you're going to struggle to prove anything. They could have all had something to do with it. They could have all had a hand in it. Jay could have been fed something. He could have been taken out there. He could have been taken out there, whacked around his head, and pushed down the ravine. It could have been like many people have thought. It could have been something to do with Tom Hilton, for instance, and this was retribution from what happened previously, and you just wouldn't know, and you've got to be able to prove it. Let me just get rid of that. Chris Hamilton. I also feel it was Brandon who damaged Jay. If we believe the beat story, I feel Jay took too much product and Brandon had to deal with it. I would have him to answer to the big man. And again, it's one of those where the downside is there's a lot of people who live a very sheltered life. Okay, people live a sheltered life, and we'll talk about things like this. Like we'll talk about Jay Slater being involved in these sort of things and the potential for this to have spiraled out of control. And there's a lot of people out there, and what I will say is there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good people in this community, a lot of good people here in chat right now. And there are people who don't understand that world. They don't know that world. They've never had anything to do with it. They've never dipped their toes in it. They've never had anybody they know around them dip their toes in it. But what we do know and what we can't ignore is that things like this happens. Things like this happens, and it happens a lot. Way more than anybody um can understand. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it is. This industry, this narcotics industry, is a dangerous one, and you have youngsters who are involved in it, and things can get out of hand. And not only if you're looking at the selling of things and the purchasing of things, but just the flat out taking of them. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're just getting involved in the recreational aspect of it, things can get out of control very, very quickly. And I was thinking spiked drinks too, which again, this here, what Arctic Nick is saying, this is 100% a situation here. The question is, and I'll repeat, is did Jay Slater die just through pure poor decision making with no aggravating factors involved? Now, if you can say that and you are 100% convinced of that, then my thoughts are that you're ignoring many, many things in order to get to that conclusion. I'm not saying you're wrong because you could be right. I just think at this stage, I think that to say that he died with no aggravating factors is a stretch. It's possible, but are we ignoring too much? And I've said this multiple times. Remember the long film, and you start removing frames out of it. How many frames do you have to remove out of Jay Slater's last 24 hours to get to this happened to Jay, no one else involved, Jay's fault, blame Jay? And I think that the family, what we're going to see now is potentially that there's going to be questions asked. There's going to be questions asked. They're going to want people to talk. But we don't know. Do we know if apparently he's not. Someone said that he was live the other day, so I don't know. I did say the other day I've been sent information and screenshots from other people who know them who seem to be talking about them being away, but I don't know. The reality is I don't know whether they are or not. But anyway, like I say, I want to keep this live relatively short, purely because if it's too long, as soon as it goes off, no one else will watch it, and we need to keep the lights on. So I do keep them shorter. But what I will say is, we'll still be looking at this case. We'll still be keeping an eye on it. There's not much more that we can talk about other than speculating the same thing over and over again. And I don't want to continue doing that. I just want to keep an eye on now what the family are doing, what is being said. Obviously, if there are things going on around in the background, if there is anything that comes forward with respect of the inquest, but I will be keeping an eye on it. If there's things that are worthy of a discussion, then we will come together and have a discussion about it. If there isn't anything else that comes out, and it is what it is now, I don't think it's worth going over and over the same thing over and over again. When I come off here live, if there's any specific things about this case that you want to talk about or you want me to address and and give you my perspective on, or perhaps come and do another live and have a chat about it, then let me know in the comments down below. Not while it's live, after it's finished and it's gone up. But what I will say is, hit the like button on your way out, because it does massively help the channel. Likes and comments is massive, and that'll do me a solid. I apologize for changing the live twice. I only do that if I absolutely have no other choice. And to be fair, I didn't think a live with you lot watching me sneeze my ass off would have been fun. But there you go. It is what it is. I'm here. You've joined me. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you are, for those of you who are not at work, hope you have a massive, brilliant day, and perhaps a pizza like I did yesterday. And yeah, if you've got work, chin up. And yeah, if you're still in the summer holidays and your kids are still at home, I feel sorry for you, because it's now getting to the point where they're now getting itchy feet and you want to sell them on eBay. But no, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. You are all absolutely amazing. And I'm now going to go and find where the dogs are and get some work done. Keep your eyes out for video 2 later today, talking about Brian Koberger and this new doc. Anyway, love you and leave you. I'll catch you all in the next one.